The teacher's words cut through the room like a blade. Isla's hands trembled over her notebook, pages filled with wild, unfinished ideas. Whispers curled around her like smoke, mocking her dreams. Yet, behind the tears, a spark ignited. Anger, determination, and a silent promise. One day the world would see her power. The scene shifts to Isla's tiny bedroom, walls lined with scribbles and sketches that speak of a mind racing faster than her surroundings. A single lamp casts a warm glow on her notebook, illuminating drawings of inventions, business ideas, and dreams too big for her small town. Her fingers trace lines over concepts no one else could understand, ideas that felt fragile yet unstoppable. Outside, the world assumes she's just a quiet, awkward girl, easy to overlook. But inside she burns with untamed curiosity, a hunger that no mocking voice could erase. Her mother sits quietly on the edge of the bed, hands folded, watching her daughter work with an intensity that makes the shadows dance on the walls. Without a word, she leaves a small cup of tea beside Isla, a silent acknowledgement of her brilliance, a quiet act of belief in the spark the teacher tried to crush. That gentle encouragement becomes a lifeline, a subtle force fueling a fire that will one day light up the world. The camera cuts back to the classroom, lingering on the teacher's cold, scornful face, his eyes narrow, lips curling into a sneer, every word dripping with judgment. "You'll never amount to anything," he had said, unaware that each syllable was planting seeds in Isla's mind. The whispers of other students faded into a distant hum, leaving only the teacher's voice echoing heavy and sharp. For most, ridicule crushes hope, but for Isla, it ignited a quiet rebellion. Each mocking glance became a challenge she vowed to overcome. Every laugh, every dismissive shake of the head, fueled a determination she had never known she possessed. Isla began replaying his words late at night, letting the sting sink in just enough to forge resilience, but never so deep as to break her spirit. She imagined proving him wrong, not out of vengeance, but to show the world the vision he had laughed at. The camera focuses on her eyes wide with unspoken defiance, a spark that would grow into a flame, one that no doubt, mockery, or failure could ever extinguish. Isla steps out into the world, carrying notebooks filled with dreams that feel too big for her small hands. She pitches her ideas to friends, hoping for encouragement, only to meet polite smiles and shrugged shoulders. Family listens but worries, warning her to be realistic, their words wrapped in care but heavy with doubt. Local mentors shake their heads, dismissing her plans as naive, impossible, or far-fetched. Each rejection lands like a stone in her chest, threatening to weigh down the fire she carries. Still, she refuses to give in. In crowded cafes with peeling paint and the hum of chatter, she spreads her sketches across the table, drawing, writing, refining. Steam curls from her untouched coffee as she loses herself in calculations, diagrams, and dreams no one else can see. Eyes flicker with exhaustion, but her hands keep moving, tracing lines, erasing mistakes, imagining what could be. The world doubts her, laughs at her, even forgets her name. But in those quiet, crowded corners, Isla keeps her hope alive. Every scribble, every sleepless night, every whispered no becomes fuel, a silent promise that one day her ideas will no longer fit in the margins. They will take the world by storm. Money is scarce. Isla counts coins in a worn-out jar, realizing her ideas are far bigger than her wallet. The small room she calls her office is cramped, papers stacked haphazardly, worn pens scattered across the floor. Every plan, every sketch, demands resources she simply doesn't have. Her dreams feel too heavy, yet she carries them anyway, shoulders hunched but unbroken. At night she lies awake, haunted by the teacher's mocking voice. "You'll never amount to anything." It plays like a broken record, echoing in the corners of her mind, twisting doubt into fuel. Each rejection from friends, mentors, and family chips at her patience, but also sharpens her resolve. Frustration tightens around her chest. Loneliness settles like a shadow in the small apartment, yet she refuses to give up. The camera lingers on her hands, calloused from sleepless nights and endless writing. Close-ups reveal the strain in her. Eyes, the hunger for success, the ache of invisibility, the quiet anger that will not be silenced. Even in poverty and isolation, Isla's fire grows. Each failure, each no, becomes a stepping stone. The world may try to break her, but her ideas, her vision, and the memory of that mocking voice are forging a strength no obstacle can erase. One day that strength will roar. Rain-slicked streets glisten under the dim glow of streetlights as Isla hurries home, notebook clutched against her chest. Her thoughts whirl with rejection, failed pitches, and the relentless weight of doubt. Then she sees it, a small act that will change everything. A wealthy entrepreneur kneels beside a shivering street vendor, handing over money, offering words of encouragement, treating the vendor not as invisible, but as capable. Isla stops in her tracks, rain dripping down her hair, watching quietly. The scene stirs something deep within her, a revelation she can't ignore. Power isn't about privilege or luck, it's about vision, courage, and the willingness to act when no one else believes in you. Her mind races, ideas sparking faster than the raindrops falling around her. She sketches in her notebook, framing the beginnings of a plan no one else can see yet. That night, the camera captures her silhouette by the window, notebook open, pen moving furiously. The world may have mocked her, but now she knows. One spark, one idea, one daring move can ignite a path to an empire of her own making. And she is ready. The next morning, Isla walks into her small office for the last time. She hands over her resignation letter, heart pounding, palms sweaty. The safe routine, the steady paycheck, the comfort of predictability, all gone. Fear coils around her chest, but beneath it, a fierce excitement burns. She is stepping into the unknown, armed only with ideas, determination, and the tiny pile of savings she has painstakingly gathered. Back in her apartment, the camera lingers on her hands, trembling yet purposeful, as she opens her laptop. Proposals are typed and retyped, graphs and plans carefully arranged, every word carrying the weight of her future. Phone calls crackle with uncertainty. Hesitant investors, skeptical mentors, voices questioning her ambition. Each maybe and we'll see lands like a punch, yet Isla keeps moving, keeps negotiating, keeps believing. Cafes, quiet corners of libraries, and late-night walks become her office. Her pen never stops, her phone never rests. She meets strangers who will become her first partners, pitch meetings that feel like battles, and small wins that taste sweeter than any paycheck ever did. Every step is a leap of faith, every risk a brushstroke painting the blueprint of the empire she is determined to build, one daring move at a time. Weeks pass, and Isla's tiny prototype finally hits the market. The first batch, carried in a worn backpack, sells out faster than she expected. Faces light up as people use her creation, smiles of surprise and delight replacing the skepticism she had grown accustomed to. Local media catches wind, cameras flashing, microphones probing, fascinated by the young woman turning audacious ideas into reality. For the first time, the world sees what she has always known. Her talent is real, and it speaks louder than any mocking word. In a brief, almost surreal moment, her old teacher appears on a news segment, glancing at her achievements with a mixture of disbelief and surprise. Isla doesn't seek approval, yet the image reminds her how far she has come. Sitting alone, that night, notebook open, she allows herself a small, quiet smile. The spark that began in ridicule has grown into a flame, and she finally understands this is only the beginning of a journey that no one can stop. The camera follows Isla into the dead of night, her apartment lit only by the pale glow of a laptop screen. Papers are scattered across the floor, pens rolling across sketches, coffee cups piled high. She works tirelessly, eyes burning from fatigue, hands moving faster than her mind can fully process. Instant noodles become dinner, hurried bites between calls and calculations, a small price for a dream she refuses to let slip away. Her family watches from the doorway, worry etched into every line of their faces. They want her to rest, to slow down, to remember life outside the grind. But Isla, Can't stop now. Every late night, every skipped meal, every sacrifice feels like another brick in the foundation of her empire. Even the memory of her teacher lingers, a silent tension she can't escape. His past mockery once stung, but now it drives her, sharpening her resolve. Each sleepless hour strengthens her mind, each sacrifice hardens her spirit. Isla is learning the cost of greatness and embracing it, knowing that every struggle brings her closer to the world she is determined to build. Just as Isla begins to taste real success, a storm crashes into her carefully built world. A partner she trusted implicitly, someone she had laughed with, strategized with, and believed in, betrays her. They take her idea, her prototype, and pitch it as their own, moving quickly to secure funding and recognition before she can react. The news hits like a punch to the gut. Her phone buzzes endlessly with angry emails, calls, and messages from confused collaborators. The camera closes in on Isla's face, eyes wide with disbelief, lips pressed tight, jaw clenched. Anger and heartbreak mingle, a storm of emotions. That makes her shake. Memories of every mocking word from her old teacher flicker through her mind, his sneer once a distant echo, now eerily alive. Was this moment proof of his prediction, or a challenge she was always meant to overcome? She sits in silence, the apartment around her suddenly oppressive, papers scattered, lights dim. Tears slip down her cheeks, but she doesn't allow herself to break. The betrayal is brutal, the setback devastating, but somewhere deep inside a spark refuses to die. This is a test, not just of her ideas, but of her courage, her resilience, and the fire that no thief or doubt can ever extinguish. Isla refuses to let betrayal define her. The camera captures her determination as she wipes away tears and begins rebuilding from the ground up. She reaches out to new partners, mentors, and innovators, carefully choosing people who share her vision and integrity. Late nights turn into brainstorming sessions, her apartment once again a hub of energy, papers and prototypes scattered everywhere. Every obstacle is met with sharper strategy, every doubt with unwavering focus. Word spreads of her resilience, and soon investors and collaborators see not just her ideas but the force behind them. Isla's innovation surpasses what anyone had imagined, blending creativity with practicality in ways that turn heads. The camera pans to a grand auditorium, lights dimmed, a crowd buzzing with anticipation. Isla steps onto the stage, heart steady, voice clear. Her name resonates across the room, applause filling the space. For the first time she feels the full weight of recognition, not just for her ideas, but for the courage, sacrifice, and unrelenting drive that brought her here. The fire that began with ridicule has become power, and now the world is listening. The screen explodes with motion. Headlines flash across the globe, each one declaring Isla's breakthrough. Conferences in Paris, Tokyo, and New York. Interviews with journalists eager to uncover the woman behind the revolution. Accolades stacking up like trophies in a lifetime that once felt impossibly long. The montage captures it all. Isla's brand growing beyond borders, her vision touching millions, the world finally paying attention to the girl who had been mocked, doubted, and dismissed. In a quiet living room, the camera lingers on her old teacher, watching a news segment with widened eyes. The smirk that once accompanied ridicule is gone, replaced by shock. He witnesses the very proof that his words could not crush, the reality that talent, resilience, and relentless belief surpass every insult. Cut back to Isla, standing in her minimalist office overlooking a city skyline, sunlight pouring in. She smiles softly, not in vengeance, not in triumph over him, but in the pure, unshakable satisfaction of a dream realized. Every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every tear, every betrayal, all of it led to this moment. Her journey was never just about proving others wrong, it was about proving herself right. And now the quiet force of her persistence echoes across the globe. The girl who once cried in a classroom is now an icon of power, vision, and inspiration. The camera slows, lingering on Isla in a sunlit studio filled with prototypes, sketches, and awards. She runs her hands over the familiar notebooks that once held dreams dismissed as foolish. every insult, every mocking word, every small victory that felt fragile at the time. Each moment now forms the backbone of her story, shaping her into the icon she has become. Her eyes carry the weight of struggle, but also the quiet joy of triumph earned through resilience. Isla turns her focus outward, mentoring young dreamers who sit around her, eyes wide with hope and curiosity. She listens to their fears, shares her mistakes, and encourages them to embrace the fire inside themselves. Her laughter fills the room, warm and genuine, a stark contrast to the echoes of ridicule that once haunted her. Through every lesson, every piece of guidance, she transforms her past pain into fuel for others' success. The camera pans over, hopeful faces, and Isla smiles, knowing that her journey was never just about personal victory. It's about lighting the path for those who dare to dream, just as she once did. The camera slowly pulls back, showing Isla standing on a cliffside. At dawn, the city sprawling beneath her. The wind tugs at her hair, but her posture is steady, confident, every hardship, every tear, every setback etched into her presence. A voiceover begins, calm but powerful. One teacher's doubt became the spark for a lifetime of greatness. Every insult, every obstacle, every small victory shaped her into the force she is today. Now imagine what one act of courage could do for you. The sun rises behind her, painting the sky in gold and orange, a visual metaphor for possibility and hope. The camera lingers on her eyes, bright, focused, unyielding. She turns slightly, looking toward the horizon, ready for the next challenge, the next dream. The screen fades to black, leaving viewers with a lingering sense of inspiration and urgency. Subscribe now, because your own empire is waiting. Your spark can become a fire that the world will never forget.